Len Mccluskey.
Hello, Manchester. What a fantastic turnout. Comrades, sisters and brothers, the police are already estimating this at 20,000, so you can double that. The biggest demonstration that Manchester has seen organised by the trade union movement. And I want to thank you for being here, for coming here on a Sunday to make certain that our message is relayed to those individuals in the GMEX, to tell this government that we're not prepared to allow them to attack the very social architecture that has held our nations together for 65 years. They need to understand that wherever they are and however long it takes, we will hunt them down. We will hunt them down in their constituencies, especially Liberal Democrat MPs who should be ashamed of themselves. Colleagues, the attacks being levelled on us are unprecedented, and that's precisely why we need a coalition of resistance, of trade unions, of community groups, of church organisations, of student organisations, and of our senior citizens. A massive coalition of resistance to engage in every form of resistance, including coordinated industrial action. And if you want to call that a general strike, then so be it. We also have to make certain that we engage in civil disobedience, just like Lee's just said, every form of civil disobedience. I've mentioned civil disobedience a few weeks ago, and the media got very excited. You'd have sworn that I'd asked for a nuclear attack on Westminster. The reality is civil disobedience is the oldest form of democracy, and we should engage in it. We should applaud direct action and fantastic organisations like UK Uncut. We should take our lead from the young people, the students, who this time last year put 60,000, 70,000 people on the streets of London. And that's what we should be fighting for. Colleagues, we're here to defend our public services and to defend our public sector workers. It gets me angry. Who do these people think they are? These harbingers of greed, these chinless wonders who attack decent public sector workers. Public sector workers are the people who teach our kids, who heal our sick, who care for our elderly and our vulnerable, who encourage our youth, who clean our streets and collect our refuge. The very people who hold together the fabric of our civilised communities, and we've got to make certain that they're not attacked by these crowds. But as Tony Lloyd has already said, this is not just about public sector workers. These cuts will impact on the private sector as well as the public sector. We've got our shop stewards and representatives of BAE Systems who this week found out that their communities are going to be devastated here in Lancashire and in Yorkshire, and we've got to make certain that we give them support as well as a result of these government cuts. And our brave men and women of Red Plug, who I had the privilege to represent for many years, along with my good comrade Phil Davis of the GMB, fighting for their dignity and yet under attack by an unscrupulous government. Comrades, that's precisely why we've got to make certain that we don't allow them to divide public sector workers from private sector workers. We're all in this fight together. And what is the fight about? The fight is about our heritage. It was our parents and our grandparents who 65 years ago, having defeated the evil of fascism in Europe, returned home, determined to build a land fit for heroes. They built the welfare state. They created the National Health Service. They gave us universal education. And we're not going to allow a bunch of Bullington millionaires to take that heritage away from us. Sisters and brothers and comrades, I don't want my kids and my grandkids saying to me, well, what did you do when they were taking away our heritage? I want to be able to say that I stood up shoulder to shoulder with millions of people and fought for that heritage so that we could hand it on to future generations. Comrades, let me make this final point. The media would have you believe that there's nothing you can do. Oh yeah, you can march around London and Manchester, you can have one-day strikes, but it won't make any difference. There are those in our own ranks who believe that. Well, I reject that form of defeatism. Our history tells us, indeed the history of the world tells us, that when working people come together, anything is possible. Anything. Look at what happened to Thatcher at the height of her power, brought down on the poll tax by people power. Look what happened to Blair. The beginning of the end for him was the Iraq War, when millions of people said, not in our name. Look at what's happening in the Middle East at the moment. Tyranny after tyranny being challenged by people power. So it's important that we keep our spirits high. In this great city, 150 years ago, Frederick Engels said that no power on earth can halt a united British working class. That's why we have to understand the power of our strength. So sisters and brothers, comrades, I say one thing and one thing only to you. Believe in your values, the values of fairness and decency and equality, for you are the voice of millions and millions of ordinary decent men and women. Let's raise the standard of justice, and I'm confident that justice will prevail. Thanks a lot, comrades.